Welcome to the Leaderomics Show. My name is Caroline and today we have a special guest, Dr. Marko Kesti. Welcome to Malaysia and welcome to the Leaderomics Show.
So nice to be here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. And you are the founder and CEO of PlayGain as well as the EVP of M Competence and a professor at University of Lapland, is that right?
That's right, yes.
Could you give us a little bit more introduction about yourself maybe?
Yes, I come from Finland, northern part from Finland. And Finland is a very beautiful country, 5.5 million inhabitants and very innovative.
Yes, definitely. We've heard a lot about innovation coming from the Scandinavian countries.
Yes, that's right.
Is it the water there or something?
Yeah, there must be. That's good, good idea. It might be the water, because we are really innovative there.
Right.
That's right. We are most competitive.
And I think that's where your background is in as well, yeah?
Yes.
Because you are, all of those accolades, right? The professor, founder, CEO. And I understand that it's around AI simulation learning games.
Yes, that's our latest innovation and research also.
Oh, that's very interesting because across these roles, they seem quite different, right? And
Yes.
what you're saying is you are able to extract human performance and leadership all in
Yes.
one. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, knowledge is becoming more and more important as a sort of an energy to companies to drive business value. And the behavioral capital is the fuel to this energy. So the behavioral capital must be very good, and then the workers will be innovative. So we are developing and measuring this behavioral capital, and we can improve behavioral capital very effectively so that it will affect to the quality of working life and the innovativeness of personnel.
Right. You said that you're able to measure the human capital, and that's a very interesting concept because generally people talk about human and saying that it's really difficult, really abstract. So how do you measure human capital performance?
We have done the research so that we have applied motivation theory to measure quality of working life, and we quantify the behavioral capital so that it is one production parameter in the production function. And we have so-called theory, human capital production function, that will describe how the human capital is transferred to profit.
Wow, so it is actually possible.
Yes, it is possible, and we have verified it also.
Right. When you say production,
Yes.
what does that
Revenue.
mean? Yeah.
It means revenue. Production volume is the revenue that the company makes.
So
And from the revenue you obviously get the profit. Yeah.
Right. So what you're saying is you are able to come up with a formula where you, I'm guessing, you observe something, you measure something,
Right.
and from there you're able to correlate it to actual performance and hopefully increase
Yes.
in revenue and profitability.
Exactly. Very, very nice put. And that is exactly what we are doing. And of course there is a lot to improve and research and develop to be able to measure more precise this quality of working life. Other numbers and data is quite nicely in the organization systems and it's available. But the quality of working life is the most essential and it's most difficult to measure.
Right. And Dr. Marko, when you talk about this measurement of people, I can understand that sometimes in different roles it can be a little bit difficult depending on what the role is.
Yes.
So is your research in a specific functional area, a certain type of jobs where it's more measurable, or are you saying that this is across the board in different types of roles?
It's a general theory, and we study the organization as a system. In this system, every worker has an important role, and the system produces the certain effective working hours, and with effective working hours, certain revenue, and from the revenue there is this operative cost, and you get the profit.
Could you give us an example of how, let's say, based on what you have seen, the examples, is there any case studies that you are actually able to give us an example? How does a company, say in Malaysia, right?
Yeah.
So we have all sorts of different industries, yeah, but I think 98% of our Malaysians are SMEs or small medium enterprises.
Yes.
And I'm sure if they know that they can measure human productivity, they will be very interested in this. So can you give an example in that sense?
Yeah, and they can improve it, not only measure, but from the measuring comes to improvement. And when you measure it correctly, you can make these activities, development activities, so that they are very effective. And then you get the profit increase. The profit increase depends on the business branch you are, but normally it can be something like, for example, 1,000 ringgit per every worker. It can be also 5,000 ringgit or even more per every worker.
So you're looking at revenue or profit?
Profit.
Per,
I mean,
per
I'm talking
employee,
about
right?
profit.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, and we have measured also in case studies this sort of profit increase when you start to develop this behavioral capital.
I see. And what are some of the elements in the measurement? What are some of the big pillars that you look for?
In the quality of working life, we utilize motivation theory, and in motivation theory there are 3 different self-esteem categories.
Okay.
Physical and emotional safety is one, and then there's collaboration and identity, and then the objectives and creativity which will boost the performance. But all these combine in this way that it is a Bayesian rules applies, and it's motivation theory, and you can get quality of working life index there. And when these self-esteems, you know how these self-esteems are in organization, you can also improve those very effectively.
Right. So basically what you're doing at improving the quality is really looking at these 3 factors.
Yes.
And from there you are actually able to tell companies what the status is of their employees right now in terms of motivation.
Yes.
And from there you can look at how can we improve it so that it can improve the revenue and of course profitability.
Yeah. The improvement actions have to be effective, and in different groups there are different actions,
right?
And the most effective are those workplace innovations that comes from the workers in innovativeness, bottoms up. Yes.
Right. And I think in your research in Lapland University, there are other areas which we are interested to talk about. But at this point, let's take a quick break. Welcome back to the Leaderonomics Show. My name is Caroline, and today we have Dr. Marko Kesti here with us.
So nice to be here, yes.
And we'd like to continue. Before the break, we spoke a little bit about your experience in terms of the simulation and in terms of human capital production. Yeah, I'd like to switch a little bit because you have multiple roles. Yeah.
Yes.
And we'd like to switch to learning more about your role in the university. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the university, you are a professor in which area? Would you like to elaborate?
I'm in human capital productivity research professor.
Right.
At the Applied Sciences and Management.
Applied Sciences and Management.
Yes.
Great. And in that space right now, are there any particular trends in human capital productivity?
Oh, in Finland, we are very high in productivity, and the trend in Finland is to measure this behavioral capital and to measure the quality of working life index, which is our research findings.
Right.
And this quality of working life index is becoming a de facto standard a little bit in Finland already. For example, government measures quality of working life index in every government office.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. And it's our research, and we are doing it internationally so that our research is internationally scientific approved.
Right. So you have taken actually the research into actual implementation.
Yes, you know, universities have 3 roles. There is doing this research, science and teaching, but there is also doing social impact.
Yes.
And I feel the best way to do social impact to start a business and do the research so that the you can sell and you can go to market.
Commercialize it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, commercialize
Right.
that. And that obviously needs investments, and somebody has to take a risk there. Of course, we take our own risk, but there are also business angels that take a risk.
Right.
And now we are in the phase of minimum viable product, and we are starting to grow, and then we need some more investment, and maybe I can step out from the CEO and start doing this development research manager post that I'm very good at.
Right, right. Yes. So you have looked at the whole chain, from
exactly.
the research all the way to the commercialization
yes.
of it.
Exactly.
Right now, there's a lot of discussion about AI. How does AI actually affect some of the research that you're doing in this human capital productivity?
Yeah, it's emerging science, and it's going to change everything. And we have done very unique research. We have done digital twin from the organization. We can simulate human behavior and economics and their connection with the digital twin that simulates the organization behavioral capital improvement effect to profit.
Could you explain a little bit more about digital twin?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that mean?
It is, for example, it's a simulation that the leader can go to the simulation, and the simulation tool will collect the data from neural network, from the organization's own data. So the leader can practice in the simulation to, for example, reduce absence or increase innovativeness or some strategic changes. And in this digital world, the leader can practice, and then when find good behavior, good actions, he can or she can implement those actions to reality. So,
right. So it's somewhat a tool where it allows a simulation of what happens.
Reality.
Yeah,
It knows how the world
try this,
works.
Right?
Yes.
Right. Interesting. And how do you see this kind of innovation in trying? It sounds like, and please correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like you are bringing AI into a development kind of space, so that you are able to add value to maybe training and development overall.
Exactly. Now when we have the digital twin and the simulation that is reliable, we can implement artificial intelligence, and we can use those artificial intelligence algorithms, so that we can ask the leader who is in the simulation can ask help from the artificial intelligence advisor.
So it will tell you, it will prompt you.
It will prompt you and advise what to do, and this AIMO, we call it AIMO, artificial intelligence mentor. It will also tell the leader that you should improve your skills in certain areas to make more impact to the behavioral capital.
I'm curious to know, on a personal basis, how did you come to this part of development about AI and about research in this area? What is your personal story behind all this?
Yeah, I have engineering background, so that's why I'm not afraid of mathematics. I'm not a mathematician, but I like mathematics because it's a very good sparring partner. If you figure out something. That how things works, then somebody might ask, can you calculate it? Can I estimate it into the future? And then it's very interesting to make those equations. How you can calculate it. It's a very good sparring partner to make it more precise and raising good questions to further research. And we have done this evolution for 15 years, and now we have found a very good equations from the artificial intelligence. Those professors and scientists from back decades ago have found very good algorithms that we can now utilize when we have this digital world.
So Dr. Marko, what made you interested in engineering and all this accuracy in the first place?
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe it is that when I got child, two child.
Yeah.
And when raising those, I
Yeah.
found out that the human issues are very important. I transferred the human issues to work also. I noticed that in my work there, we didn't utilize and also do it strategic
Right.
point of view these human issues.
Right.
So I start to study, and that way I changed it a little bit my career from the engineering to human
I
resource
see.
and management.
So it's really your family that triggered
I
this
believe
switch.
so. I
Yeah?
believe so. It make a switch in my mind.
Oh, wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful. And let's talk more about it when we come back from the break. Welcome back to the Leaderonomics Show. My name is Caroline and we have Dr. Marko Kesti with us today. So, Dr. Marko,
Yes.
we're going to play this game.
Exciting.
It's called, Tinkonomics, where you share your thoughts on certain topics.
Okay.
And how it's going to work is like this. Yeah, I'm going to get these cards here. Okay.
All right.
And there's going to be a timer here.
Oh, stress.
Yes, good stress. Yeah. And
Yes.
it's about a minute and you try to answer as many questions as you can.
All right.
All right.
How old would you be if you didn't know how old you are?
Aha.
Oh, this is. I do a lot of exercise in my free time, and I try to take care of myself. So I feel maybe I would be 45.
Oh, great. 45 is a good age.
Yes.
Okay, next one. Pick another one.
What are the key attributes of high performance teams? Very good question. In quality of working life, there are these self-esteem categories. That first of all, there has to be this emotional safety, so that the people feel emotional safety, and also good collaboration, team spirit.
Right.
But also there has to be passion and creativity.
Emotional safety, passion,
Yes.
and one more.
Team
word.
spirit.
Team spirit, collaboration.
Yes,
Okay,
collaboration.
I think we have time for one more. Would you like to take one more?
Who made a greater impact, Mother Teresa or Nelson Mandela? Oh, very, very tough question.
Choose one.
I feel Mother Teresa
And why
because
is
of
that?
the children, taking care of the children, and very poor. So very human.
Yes, and you spoke about your children before this.
Yes, that's why
So
I
that seems to
picked this
hit the
one.
spot. Do you
Yes.
mind if we do it one last one?
Yes, okay. Like this one. If you had to move to a country besides the one you currently live, where would it be? Oh, I think it might be here in Malaysia or in Singapore.
Welcome to
Yes.
Malaysia. Thank you, Dr. Marko, for this.
Thank you.
Right, and just to close up a little bit of questions about your personal self and your thoughts about it. Yeah, as we have seen here.
Yes.
On leadership, you spoke about it a little bit. Are there particular leadership traits or characteristics that you think is the most important on top of your list?
Yeah, there are, and they are quite difficult to achieve in working life, because working life is so very stressful and there is always hurry. But the leader should have the mental attitude to listen to workers, because he or she is a leader. Leading is listening workers and taking care of their grievances and problems, and try to sort of not to motivate, but to find on collaboration and passion together.
Right. So to be a good leader, you must be a good listener who is
Yes.
able to find out
To
the
solve
gist.
those
Yeah?
problems, of course,
Right.
because the leader has to leader has a certain power and responsibilities about the well-being of the workers. So problems has to be solved,
And do you
the
have...
skills, of course, to do this problem solving.
Oh, right. Not just listen.
So there
yeah?
are so many things. That's why it is difficult to achieve.
Right. Do you have any mentors in mind or models of people who demonstrate some of these leadership traits?
Yeah, I've read a lot of books, and I obviously had some mentors during my working life. But one particular important was Peter Senge in the book Fifth
Right.
Discipline.
Right.
That is very unique book, and describing human behavior and human capabilities and how to utilize
Yeah.
human, and also Daniel Goleman, emotional intelligence is also very important.
Good books
for me.
that you are
yes. And I have
speaking
third
about.
also, which is quite relatively new, the Nobel Prize Daniel Kahneman, with thinking fast and slow.
Yes.
It made a great impact to my thinking. Great impact.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. And what would you advise the younger generation? And we're talking about books here. There are good books to read, but there are also other ways to learn how to be a leader. Do you have some advice to them on that?
Yeah, how to be a leader or how to be good in anything. There has to be passion. You have to find your own passion to do things and to learn. And of course, in the beginning you are not so very good, but after 10 years, when you have the passion to learn, after 10 years you will be expert.
And how do you...
So you have to have the passion to
passion
learn.
And patience.
Passion and patience.
How do you find that passion? I think a lot of young people would like to do that, but they don't know how to find. Where do I find what is my passion?
Yes, it is of course personal thing, but those good mentors can help in that and show an example.
So perhaps first thing to do, find a good mentor.
Yeah, I find a good mentor and find some subject that you are passionate about to learn.
Right.
Yes.
It's been interesting talking to you, and thank you so much for coming on the show. And again, I hope you had a good stay in Malaysia.
Very nice, very good.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
Thank you for watching the Leaderonomics Show. You have been with Caroline and Dr. Marko Kesti.